You gotta move forward because we're not.
I just started sitting back. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the vlog. I did a bisexuality Q&A a while ago, and then I asked people on Twitter for their polyamory questions. So we're gonna answer some polyamory questions. This is comedian Eli Olsberg.
Hi.
And he's also polyamorous, so we're gonna get his take on stuff as well. Okay, so you guys sent like a lot of questions. I'm gonna try to get to most of them. If you disagree with me, feel free to do that. That's what this is. That's why there's two people here.
Right.
Like your perspective as like a man in polyamory.
Yep, so get ready. There's a lot of opinions of the patriarchy coming at you.
This is canceled. Okay, so first of all, to you, what is polyamory?
It's an open relationship, but with more lines of communication. I think open relationships often are like, will operate under the guise of like, kind of almost like don't ask, don't tell.
Right, yeah.
You know, and so I think with polyamory, it's more about communication and figuring out like there's no set of lines. It's polyamory's figuring out the lines as a couple. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's just like realistic to be like, well, obviously we're not gonna only like each other for our whole lives. An open relationship, but also you're free to date other people, because non-monogamy is like you could just have sex with people.
Right. A lot of
polyamory is like dating.
A lot of it is also like being in a relationship and exploring other relationships.
What if you're just, I'm asking my own questions.
Sure.
What if you're just dating around and are you still polyamorous if you don't have a primary partner? I think it's called relationship anarchy, right?
Yes, but polyamory is also like a lifestyle. So just because you're single doesn't mean you can't be polyamorous.
Yeah.
Like that's if you identify as that, that's still something you have to tell your partner when you start dating.
What is polyamory was a question from Allison Raskin, a person I've never heard of before. Have you dated a monogamous person and how did that work?
I did date monogamous people, but this is the first time I've been poly right now where we went in full poly. Prior to that, there was different kind of like asterisks or marks to that based on that person because they don't identify as polyamorous.
Right.
And at the time, I don't know if I officially did, because I was still figuring that out. I've been in open relationships. I've been in relationships that have been kind of built on, but when we started out, we started monogamous. I often let the female lead with that because if I...
The female?
Well, I identify as straight, so my girlfriends...
I just meant the use of the term the female is so scientific.
Yeah, well, this is science.
Oh, is it?
It's science.
The science of love.
The science of love.
Have you dated someone where you were like, so this is what polyamory is, this is who I am, and then they were like, oh, no.
My current relationship is the first relationship that where we both were like, we're poly, let's do it. Prior to that, they were evolving, so I was still figuring it out, because...
but you were monogamous with someone for a while.
Yeah. Well, in my early 20s and even my late 20s, actually, I was monogamous.
What? How old are you? I'm just kidding. I have dated monogamous people, and usually I will like introduce them to the concept,
right? Which
is I've been told shouldn't do, but I keep doing it. But I don't know that it's impossible, because I think like if you explain it and they kind of think about it and like come to their own conclusion about themselves. Like a lot of times I'll propose it, and then a couple times the person I'm dating was like, oh, like I kind of get it. Like I had thought about that for myself, but I just didn't know the word, or I didn't know how to go about it.
Right.
So it works usually if they already kind of have a non-monogamous like brain.
Right. I think it also... if you're going in with that expectation, I would say you also have to go in with the expectation that person is free to bail. Free to, I mean, like, even if there's feelings involved, you can't, at the end of it, spite that person, or vice versa. Because often that's what's going to happen, is that the other person will go along with it thinking, well, if this is what will make the relationship work, they might realize at the end of it that it's not for them.
Yeah, and you can't be upset about that.
Yeah, and even if you are, you have to keep it to yourself. You can't take it out on that person.
be resentful about it.
Right.
Okay, how do you explain polyamory to your friends?
I feel like with every friend it's different, because a lot of people will always be like, well, you can't, the idea of your girlfriend with another person, and I'm like, yeah, it's fucking awesome. That's the best thought. No, like I explained it to my mom, and she was like, right away she got it.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the longest conversation.
I always think older people get it because they're like, oh yeah, you date around and then they give you their Letterman jacket and then that's your boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
also, like older people, like Maymay, my grandmother, like was married to Pepe. Pepe died. Then she had this friend couple they were friends with. Then the woman died, and then now she's dating that guy. Like old people are wild. Like, can you even imagine if like we were like a couple friend of ours, like you died and then like she died, and then the guy and I were just like, I guess we're together now.
That's just good TV writing.
What do you think about hierarchy? How does it affect your relationships versus like in a practical way versus what you thought was going to happen? So that means like having a main person and then a secondary.
That's a very good question.
Yeah. I had a primary and then I had a secondary, and a lot of times it only works if the secondary has a primary, because then they're like not they're busier.
Yeah.
And I also think like now I have two people who are like pretty even.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I would say so. Well, what do
you have seniority, but
thank you.
Hierarchy works if you want to have a hierarchy, and also if you don't want to have a hierarchy, you don't have to. Like you can tell people like you want it to be even. It depends on matching up. Like if someone is like, I want to be your primary, and you're like, well, I only really want a secondary right now, then it won't match up. How do you bring it up with a new partner?
It depends how you meet the partner, because
put it in your Tinder bio.
Yeah, she'll ask me like, what does that mean for you in terms of like, so
what this relationship could be.
Yes, exactly. And so oftentimes I'll get girls who are one girl's like, well, you have a primary partner and I'm just looking for casual, so this is perfect. And so she knows her expectations for me are set. People are also going to hear what they want to hear, even if you're telling this person like flat out at a very upfront level, like, this is what I want. Like, we're going to be a secondary. Some people think, well, if I just wait it out.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
So when I talk to people about poly, they say, what's the point? Because they see the purpose of a relationship to be the commitment to one person, and sharing the person devalues the relationship. You say, I'm poly, and then your friend goes, what's the point of being poly? The purpose of a relationship is to commit to one person. Sharing them devalues the relationship.
No, it does not. That is, I'm so glad someone asked this. This makes me very happy.
My fans are smart. So what do you say back?
Well, I would say that you say that person, first off, monogamy is just as flawed as polyamory. If they're gonna go,
the divorce rate's very high.
The divorce rate's insane. People cheat all the time. People quantify thinking dirty thoughts of another person as cheating, but if they're watching porn on their own while their partner's away, that somehow isn't cheating.
What do you say? You say monogamy is a fetish.
Yeah, monogamy is a fetish. That's always been a thing. If people call poly a fetish, then that means monogamy is a fetish.
You want to be with one person for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
Then you go, gross.
Gross, yeah. That's like, and I always say, I'm like, get a hobby. Like, how can you?
Eli! But like, also, yeah, the purpose of a relationship is to have companionship and to have a partner and a teammate.
Right.
And if you have more than one teammate, then you're a football team rather than tennis doubles.
Yeah.
It doesn't devalue the relationship. You're not sharing the person.
Right.
Like if you have more than one friend, is your friendship devalued?
When people say like how things feel like a threat, I'm like, it's not about. I don't think of like you with another person. Like, she's not thinking about how much she doesn't love me when she's with another person.
Right,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
I still love you when I'm with another person, and I still love that person when I'm with you.
Yes.
It's like they can coexist.
Yes. Yeah.
You do feel jealousy. Like people, you do feel jealousy. It's not like we're robots who don't feel jealousy.
But you can also.
I felt really jealous when my partner drove someone to the airport. Like you still feel jealousy.
Yeah.
You're not a robot. You just are choosing what you do with that jealousy.
Right.
How did you know you were polyamorous, Eli? A short summary?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time being monogamous and it didn't feel right. And oftentimes I felt like I was wondering if, like, why was I feeling this way? And then I had a very long period where I was single and trying different things. And like dating and different types of like going to like parties.
Sex parties.
When I started like having partners where we would bring other people to bed, that opened a door.
Yeah.
That door ain't closing.
I think also like I just felt like I was wrong or bad or like I needed to fix something
there was
about
like a
myself.
Shame aspect.
Shame. Like I was like, okay, what I want isn't possible. How can I do that? How can I fix the way I feel? And then I was like, so someone else said, when did you first hear the word polyamorous? I learned the word from Mike Kaplan, who's another comedian who identifies as polyamorous. And when I realized that that was a thing you could be and that was like a lifestyle that you could have and like people do it, I was like, mind blown. What is cheating in a polyamorous relationship? To me, just lying.
Lying, yeah. That's all. I mean, that's what cheating is, first off.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lie.
Lying.
It's
Yeah.
lying. Even if you obviously admit to cheating on a person, I guess I shouldn't be so simplistic about it. But like, yeah, in poly, it's all about communication. So if you just aren't communicating that thing.
And if you're lying about stuff, then that's the same as cheating.
Right,
If you're lying about going on dates, if you're lying about who you hung out with.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you make time for all the dates? Google Calendar. Why is Tinder a toxic hellhole? I mean, because hell is other people.
Yes.
What's what about aftercare? Like making the person feel good after you hook up with someone else. Like making sure that I still feel secure, let's say.
Yeah, that's a tough one because you're also just at the very beginning you're gonna feel guilt no matter what because of systemic and societal bullshit. Like that's just gonna come with the territory.
Just be loving.
Yeah,
just be loving and kiss their face and be nice to them and say that you love them and that they're important to you. I'm very over the top affectionate.
Yes, and
with both people so that nobody feels sad.
In the past, I haven't been enough. I've done that before, so I didn't learn it until the dust settled. And sometimes that's all you can do is learn from your past mistakes. I definitely learned from that.
I have seen Chris Fleming's polyamorous video. I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
He's
it's
a buddy.
So funny.
He's our friend, and he's lovely.
And I think what he's making fun of in that, what he's satirizing is totally hilarious because it is.
Even in poly, we're like, yup. That's what we're like. Have you ever called your partners the wrong name? No.
Nope.
I have sometimes called current people by ex's names by accident.
But it's funny how our names start with the same letters and have a similar.
It's a nightmare.
And I'm impressed that you haven't.
It's a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah.
What about safe sex? We get tested all the time.
Yeah.
So often.
Minimum 6 months is the most I would.
I would wait. Yeah. And I think like I do different things to like take precautions. Like if I had 2 male partners, there would be condoms for sure.
Oh, of course.
But and then like female, there's not a lot of STDs that women can. There's some that women can give each other, or 2 people with vaginas can give each other. And you got to stay up on top of that.
Yeah, big time. Like, I mean,
know what discharge is bad. Know what smell is bad.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a real. That's
You
really
can pass
important.
yeast infections between partners. It's not great. Okay, I have 2 more questions. How do you introduce the idea to your spouse as a way to address unmet needs? Like, if I was with you and I was like, I want to see a guy blow another guy, and you were like, well, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But that's a need that I have. How do you, like...
You can go watch 2 other guys do it, but I'm comfortable with that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but if it's that you want to specifically watch...
No, I'm saying, like, this person's saying, like, they have some need or kink or desire, and their partner doesn't want to do it.
That's okay. I mean, look, that's unfortunately...
Dan Savage has written a lot about this that you can read. He's written a lot about, like, if someone really has something they want to get fulfilled and you don't want to do it, then to be a good partner, you should let them do it.
Yes, and I've let you, like, we've done things with other people that you've been able to fulfill those needs.
Are you just bragging about what a good boyfriend you are?
Some couples love that they're able to let this person go live out this thing. Like
you want to be happy for them.
Right.
You're happy for them to be happy.
When people find it sad, you need to go investigate yourself as to, like, you can't look at it that you're not good enough. This person, before you came along, obviously had this thing that they wanted fulfilled. So you meet all these other expectations. So if this person wants to find something else, watching 2 people do a specific thing or feel this thing, that's the advantage of polyamory.
I agree. Final question, which is kind of more for me, but it's, Do you find that people assume you're poly because you're bisexual, or bisexual because you're poly? Yes. Look, I don't like this idea of the model bisexual that has to be not slutty and has to be monogamous and has to present themselves a certain way so that we can be accepted by straight society or even lesbian society. Go fuck yourselves. Like, you don't have to be one type of queer person. You don't have to be one type of like bisexual. You don't have to be one type of race of a person. Like, there's this idea of the model minority is something you should read about, and it's so toxic and annoying. And I've talked about it on this channel before, under a video called "The Slutty Bisexual," but it's basically just respectability politics, and it keeps people from living their truth, and it makes people feel bad if they're not like the perfect bisexual, and there is no such thing. And if there were more representations of bisexuals in media, perhaps we wouldn't have these stereotypes.
And people, oh God, I want to add something to this, can I?
Yeah, what?
I just wanted to add that like people look at experimentation and also like group things involving groups, they'll consider that bisexual, that like 2 men and 1 woman having sex.
Right.
But if there's no sexual, even if the men have like some form of a contact that's just like incidental, that automatically defines bisexuality. That's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Don't let someone tell you you're bisexual because of some specific encounter or scenario.
Men get called gay or bi when they don't identify as such because of threesomes or because of whatever, but then like women have threesomes and are like, I'm straight.
Right, yes, I was just going to say that. That was the inverse. Women fall into that too.
Right, it's whatever you identify as.
Right, and no one can take that from you.
It definitely helps my bisexuality to be polyamorous. I like the idea of having a male and female partner. I've always liked that. Even when I was like young, like 12, I was like, wouldn't it be cool? Like,
yes, and that's an advantageous overlap for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky.
Yes, but also for people who like it can be one or the other for you if that's how you feel. If you're bisexual but you don't want to be poly, you don't have to be. If you're poly and you identify as 100% straight, that's okay. Or
100% gay.
That's okay as well.
Fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this has been an enlightening series of questions.
I think so, yeah. It's a lot of great questions.
Thank you for all your questions.
Yeah, those are great questions, everybody.
And thank you for being engaged with this topic. Obviously, like, this is just me and Eli's experience.
Yeah.
And if people have better answers, please put them in the comments below. Also, like, feel free to argue with us.
Yeah.
Also, like, this isn't speaking for all polyamorous people.
No, absolutely. I mean,
I'm speaking for all polyamorous people. You can follow Eli at Eli Olsberg on a bunch of stuff. And, and hopefully, I mean, we probably didn't answer everything, so hopefully maybe we'll do, tweet us, or we'll do like a follow-up, subscribe to the channel.
Yes,
and this doesn't benefit you in any way.
No, but I'm supportive.
And I'm at Gabby Dunn, and sorry I haven't been posting so much. We've been on tour. My book, by the way, is a New York Times bestseller. So
yes, 2 weeks in a row.
So I've done this a lot, actually.
Get that book.
So the book's called I Hate Everyone But You. You can get it anywhere, and so that's why I've been busy. Sorry, but yeah.
Don't apologize. You're putting good in the world.
God, this is too nice. All right, bye.